Presence isn't about being loud, flashy, or trying to impress anyone. It's about carrying an energy so grounded and magnetic that people notice you before you even speak. This audiobook takes you into the inner mechanics of that kind of presence, the kind that makes others feel your confidence, your clarity, and your calm the moment you enter a room. You'll explore how powerful identity, controlled emotion, and intentional energy shape the way the world responds to you. When you understand how to command attention without demanding it, you stop blending in and start imprinting your presence everywhere you go. This is a transformation built from the inside outward, where your mindset, posture, expression, and aura align to create an impact impossible to overlook. Welcome to the journey where you don't chase recognition, you attract it naturally. Inner calm begins as a quiet energy within you, but its influence reaches far beyond your thoughts. When your mind stops fighting itself, the world senses a grounded presence around you. People are naturally drawn to those who carry steady energy because it creates a feeling of safety and clarity. This calm forms a silent atmosphere that others notice without understanding why. Your stability becomes its own language. That language becomes magnetic. Calmness reshapes your presence because it changes how you react to pressure. Instead of collapsing under tension, your composed energy becomes a steady anchor. People instinctively gravitate towards someone who can stay centered when things feel unstable. This ability sets you apart. The more grounded you are, the stronger your presence becomes. That strength radiates without a single word spoken. Your inner calm becomes magnetic when you stop absorbing every emotion around you. Not every feeling deserves your attention, and not every situation requires your reaction. When you learn to protect your peace, your energy becomes clearer and more powerful. This clarity shows in your body language and your silence. Your silence becomes influence. Influence draws people toward you. Calmness gives you emotional space to observe rather than react. When you pause inwardly, your presence communicates confidence even if you never say a word. People trust those who aren't easily shaken. That trust becomes a connection. Connection strengthens your ability to impact any environment. The calmer you are, the more noticeable you become. Your inner calm shapes how others perceive your value. When people sense stability in you, they instinctively treat you with more respect. Calmness feels like authority because it suggests control over your inner world. Authority doesn't need volume, it needs certainty. Certainty makes people listen differently. That shift in their attention becomes magnetic power. Calm energy communicates self-respect without effort. When you carry yourself with quiet assurance, others adjust their tone and behavior to match your vibe. They mirror your composure because your steadiness influences them subconsciously. This influence isn't demanded, it's created through presence. Presence becomes stronger than persuasion. Persuasion becomes unnecessary. Inner calm expands your awareness. When you aren't overwhelmed by noise within your mind, you notice details others miss. This heightened attentiveness makes your interactions deeper and more meaningful. People feel understood around you because your attention is clean and focused. That type of attention is rare. Rarity draws people in. Calmness teaches you how to pace your reactions. Instead of rushing to respond, you create space for intention. Intention gives your words weight. Words with weight carry influence. Influence creates magnetism. Magnetism grows when you align your behavior with clarity. Your inner calm becomes magnetic when your energy remains the same regardless of the situation. Consistency in your presence builds trust quickly. People feel safe around someone who doesn't shift unpredictably. Safety turns into admiration. Admiration becomes attraction. Attraction forms a silent pull. Calm energy reduces the friction within your interactions. When you're unbothered by small disruptions, you maintain control of the atmosphere around you. That control is sensed immediately by others. The room responds to your steadiness. Your steadiness commands subtle authority. Authority becomes presence. Inner calm sharpens your intuition. Without internal chaos, your instincts become clearer and more accurate. This clarity makes you appear wise and thoughtful, even in brief encounters. People label you as someone who just knows, even though it's your calmness that heightens understanding. Understanding becomes respect. Respect becomes magnetism. Your calm presence influences how others behave in your company. Loud people soften, nervous people relax, and impatient people slow down. They match the energy you carry because your calmness sets the tone. Setting the tone gives you invisible leadership. Leadership without effort draws people automatically. Calmness strengthens your posture and expression. When tension leaves your mind, your body reflects it through open, confident positioning. This posture communicates ease and certainty. Certainty is attractive because it signals inner alignment. Alignment creates charisma without theatrics. Charisma makes you unforgettable. Your inner calm becomes magnetic when you detach from the need to prove anything. When you no longer seek approval, your presence becomes more natural and grounded. Authentic energy pulls people closer because it feels safe and genuine. Genuine presence requires no performance. That lack of performance makes you stand out effortlessly. Calmness helps you navigate social situations with silent control. You don't need to dominate conversations to influence them. Your composed energy speaks louder than constant talking. People listen more closely when you finally speak because they sense your words are intentional. Intentional speech commands attention. Attention enhances presence. Your calm presence creates emotional contrast. When others are overwhelmed by stress or noise, your stability becomes even more noticeable. Contrast amplifies magnetism. You become the person people seek when they need clarity. Being that person elevates your value. Elevated value becomes a powerful aura. Calmness strengthens your self-trust. When you remain stable under pressure, you begin to believe in your ability to handle anything. That belief shapes how you move through the world. People feel this confidence the moment they meet you. Confidence delivered quietly is often more compelling than confidence delivered loudly. Inner calm transforms the energy of the spaces you enter. The room shifts because people sense something balanced and grounded walking in. This shift makes you appear more composed, more capable, and more collected. That impression becomes memorable. Memorability increases presence. Presence becomes influence. Calm energy enhances your ability to listen fully. People feel seen when you give them your full attention. Feeling seen creates trust. Trust forms bonds quickly. Bonds create emotional magnetism. Magnetism is strengthened by the sincerity of your calmness. Your calmness makes you unpredictable in a powerful way. People expect strong reactions, but you respond with controlled, thoughtful energy. This unexpected steadiness intrigues them. Intrigue keeps their attention. Attention builds presence. Presence enhances magnetism. Calmness makes your presence feel grounded, and grounded energy is rare in a fast, chaotic world. When people find someone who radiates inner stability, they naturally gravitate toward them. They want to be near that energy because it feels steady and warm. Warm stability is attractive. Attractive energy spreads. Your inner calm shifts how others treat you because calm people are perceived as capable and confident. They make fewer chaotic decisions, so others place trust in them. This trust becomes a form of influence that grows over time. Influence shapes reputation. Reputation strengthens magnetism. Calmness allows you to remain centered even when surrounded by uncertainty. This ability speaks louder than confidence learned through words or appearance. True calm is felt, not shown. Felt energy leaves a mark on people. That mark becomes recognition. Recognition becomes presence. Your inner calm becomes an unspoken magnet because it transforms the way people feel around you. They sense ease, clarity, and emotional safety in your presence. This makes you memorable, respected, and impossible to overlook. Through inner calm, you build a presence that reaches farther than your words ever could. Subtle power begins with the energy you carry, not the volume you project. It isn't about dominating a room, it's about influencing it without force. When your presence comes from inner strength rather than outward performance, people respond differently. They sense quiet authority instead of loud pressure. That quiet authority becomes your signature. Your signature becomes your influence. This type of power grows through self-awareness. When you understand your emotions, habits, and triggers, you stop reacting unconsciously. You move with intention instead of impulse. This intentional movement shifts the atmosphere around you. People feel grounded near you. Grounded energy feels powerful even when it isn't loud. Subtle power expresses itself through controlled reactions. When unexpected situations arise, your restraint speaks louder than dramatic responses ever could. People trust those who stay centered under pressure. That trust becomes connection. Connection deepens your impact. Impact strengthens your presence. Your presence transforms when you stop chasing attention and start embodying authenticity. Attention gained through performance fades quickly, but attention drawn through genuine character lasts. Genuine character shows in your tone, your expression, and your calm certainty. That certainty anchors the environment around you. Anchored energy is unmistakably powerful. Subtle power emerges from consistency in your behavior. When you show up the same way in different situations, people rely on your steadiness. Steadiness gives them a sense of emotional safety. Emotional safety builds respect. Respect amplifies your influence. Influence enhances your presence. Your presence strengthens when you learn to speak less but mean more. Fewer words delivered with intention carry greater impact. People feel the weight behind what you say because your silence before speaking creates anticipation. Anticipation draws attention. Attention magnifies your presence. Subtle power grows when you choose clarity over confrontation. You don't need to overpower anyone to assert yourself. Calm clarity communicates boundaries without aggression. This balance shows emotional maturity. Emotional maturity attracts admiration. Admiration elevates your presence. Your presence becomes transformative when your actions align with your values. People recognize authenticity instinctively. When they see you living your truth, your credibility becomes undeniable. Undeniable credibility forms influence that doesn't require effort. Effortless influence is subtle power in its purest form. Subtle power emerges through stability during chaos. When others feel overwhelmed, your centered energy becomes a guiding force. They naturally turn toward the calmest person in the room. Being that person strengthens your authority. That authority reshapes how people interpret your presence. Your presence transforms when your emotions no longer control your behavior. Emotional regulation gives you internal mastery. Internal mastery shows externally as strength. This strength isn't aggressive. It's contained, steady, and confident. People feel this balance immediately. That feeling draws them closer. Subtle power forms through disciplined self-control. When you don't react impulsively, you communicate confidence without needing to prove anything. This quiet confidence is magnetic. It gives people the impression that you understand your value. Value perceived through subtlety feels genuine. Genuine influence is rare. Your presence deepens when you move with purpose rather than haste. Purposeful movement suggests competence and stability. People observe how you carry yourself, how you walk, how you hold your posture. These tiny cues communicate certainty. Certainty strengthens your aura. Aura becomes influence. Subtle power strengthens through emotional neutrality. When you don't let negativity penetrate your energy, people see you as resilient. Resilience draws respect because it shows that you're not easily disturbed. Not being easily disturbed creates authority. Authority enhances your presence. Your presence transforms when you learn to hold space instead of filling it. You don't need to take up physical or verbal space to be felt. Your energy itself occupies the environment, and people sense it through your calmness. That calmness creates quiet dominance. Quiet dominance reshapes perception. Subtle power grows when you practice deliberate stillness. Stillness isn't inactivity, it's controlled energy. When you are still with intention, people become more aware of your presence. They sense confidence in your restraint. Restraint becomes influence. Influence becomes power. Your presence evolves when you embody consistency rather than unpredictability. People trust individuals whose moods and actions do not fluctuate wildly. This reliability becomes its own form of strength. Strength seen through steadiness feels natural and unforced. Natural influence is the most memorable. Subtle power is cultivated through the way you observe the world. Keen observation allows you to understand dynamics that others overlook. This understanding gives you an advantage in social and emotional interactions. Advantage increases confidence. Confidence enhances presence. Your presence transforms when you stop comparing yourself to others and begin embracing your unique energy. Comparison weakens your aura because it shifts your focus outward instead of inward. When you stay true to your own rhythm, your presence becomes more defined. Defined presence is unmistakable. Unmistakable presence is powerful. Subtle power emerges when you believe in your worth without needing validation. That quiet belief becomes visible in your posture, your tone, and your expression. People feel confidence long before they hear it. Feeling it creates connection. Connection turns presence into influence. Your presence transforms through subtle power when your energy becomes steady, intentional, and grounded. You don't need to push, prove, or force anything. Your calm authority speaks for you. Through this quiet strength, you become the person people notice without understanding why. Your presence becomes the unspoken force that shapes the room. Natural authority begins long before you step into a room. It starts with how you hold your energy. When your inner world feels aligned and steady, people sense it the moment you appear. You don't need dramatic movements or exaggerated confidence. Your presence quietly signals self-assurance. That quiet signal shapes the first impression. First impressions set the atmosphere around you. Walking into a space with authority requires a calm and deliberate mindset. When you enter without rushing or seeking attention, your energy communicates control. People feel the difference between someone who is centered and someone who is trying too hard. Centered energy carries weight. That weight influences how others react to you. Influence begins with poise. Authority grows through the way you take up space, not by dominating it, but by grounding yourself in your posture. When your shoulders relax, your chin lifts subtly, and your steps are steady, you project certainty without speaking. Certainty is felt instantly. Felt certainty creates respect. Respect opens the door to presence. Natural authority is shown through your pace. Moving too fast communicates anxiety, while moving too slow can seem unsure. A balanced pace, measured and intentional, shows confidence. Confidence expressed through movement shifts how the room responds to you. The room adjusts to your rhythm. That adjustment amplifies your aura. Entering a room with authority requires awareness of your surroundings. When you observe the space before engaging, you anchor your energy. This brief pause helps you collect yourself, scan the environment, and position your mindset. That positioning creates a subtle dominance. Dominance earned through awareness feels effortless. Effortlessness enhances presence. Your facial expression is a powerful part of authority. A calm, neutral, slightly warm expression shows emotional stability. When people see steadiness in your eyes, they sense confidence. Your expression becomes a silent introduction. Silent introductions reveal more than words ever could. This silent impact becomes influence. Authority is strengthened by your breathing. When your breath is slow and controlled, your energy becomes grounded. Grounded energy radiates through your mannerisms and gestures. People trust those who appear emotionally balanced. Trust is the root of authority. Authority forms naturally through regulated presence. The way you make eye contact shapes how others perceive you. Strong but gentle eye contact communicates confidence without aggression. You're not overpowering anyone, you're acknowledging them with awareness. Awareness creates mutual respect. Mutual respect builds instant credibility. Credibility deepens authority. Entering a room with authority isn't about being the loudest. It's about being the most composed. Composure carries a type of strength that people can feel even from across the room. It suggests self-control and inner confidence. This impression forms quickly. Quick impressions have lasting influence. Influence becomes your advantage. Authority is maintained through intentional stillness. When you're not fidgeting or displaying restless behavior, your presence becomes more striking. Stillness signals self-command. Self-command signals discipline. Discipline is attractive because it shows reliability. Reliable energy holds power. Your voice plays a role even before you speak. The absence of unnecessary chatter, combined with calm breathing, creates a quiet expectation. People instinctively pay attention when someone composed begins to speak. This anticipation gives your voice impact. Impact enhances your authority. Authority grows through tone more than volume. The way you acknowledge others when you enter a room shapes how they respond to you. A subtle nod, a calm greeting, or even a simple glance creates connection. Connection doesn't need to be dramatic. It only needs to be genuine. Genuine connection influences how people perceive your role in the environment. Influence strengthens authority. Authority is reinforced by emotional neutrality. When you enter a room without carrying stress or personal chaos, your presence feels cleaner. People gravitate toward clean, stable energy. Stability makes you noticeable in a quiet way. That quietness is powerful. Power delivered calmly is unforgettable. Your posture communicates your relationship with yourself. When you stand tall without stiffness, you show inner comfort. Comfort shows confidence. Confidence shows leadership potential. Leadership potential is sensed, not announced. Sensed potential becomes authority without effort. Authority grows when you don't rush to fill silence. When you allow space before speaking or acting, people feel your confidence through your comfort with pauses. These pauses communicate thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness builds trust. Trust magnifies presence. Your presence becomes authoritative when you walk with purpose. Purposeful movement reflects an internal direction that others can sense. You're not wandering or hesitating. You're moving with intention. Intention leaves a mark. That mark makes people remember you even without words. Authority requires being unattached to others' judgments. When you're not shaped by external approval, your presence becomes steady and authentic. Authenticity strengthens your aura. A strengthened aura commands attention naturally. Natural command becomes your signature. Your ability to stay composed when eyes turn toward you determines how your authority unfolds. People watch your reaction more than your entrance. If your energy remains stable, their perception of you strengthens. Perception builds influence. Influence shapes authority. Authority deepens when your presence communicates confidence without arrogance. You don't need to overshadow anyone. You simply stand in your own energy. This balance makes you approachable yet powerful. Approachable power is rare. Rarity heightens presence. Entering a room with natural authority is an art built on calm confidence, grounded energy, and deliberate intention. You don't need theatrics or loud gestures. Your presence speaks first. Your posture supports it, and your energy completes it. Through this quiet power, you shape how the room responds before you say a single word. Confidence rooted in controlled energy feels different from anything forced or exaggerated. When your confidence grows from inner balance rather than external validation, it naturally becomes more stable. People sense this stability in the way you move, breathe, and respond. Controlled energy creates a quiet kind of strength that doesn't need attention to feel powerful. This quietness becomes unmistakable. Unmistakable presence becomes influence. Controlled energy is built through emotional awareness. When you recognize your internal signals before reacting, you take ownership of your behavior. This ownership builds a deeper sense of certainty. Others notice when your reactions are thoughtful rather than impulsive. Thoughtful reactions show self-command. Self-command becomes confidence others respect. Your energy becomes more controlled when you stop letting temporary feelings decide your direction. Emotions come and go, but your choices do not need to shift with them. When you act from clarity instead of emotional spikes, your presence becomes more grounded. Grounded presence signals that you trust yourself. Self-trust radiates confidence without effort. Controlled energy changes how others interpret your silence. Instead of appearing uncertain, your silence feels intentional and observant. People instinctively pay attention to someone who doesn't rush to speak. This calmness creates anticipation. Anticipation enhances your impact. Impact becomes confidence expressed through restraint. Confidence deepens when your internal rhythm matches your external expression. When your mind is steady, your gestures soften, your voice steadies, and your presence becomes cohesive. Cohesive energy feels real, not performed. Realness attracts respect because it shows authenticity. Authentic confidence is difficult to ignore. Controlled energy shows through the way you handle tension. Instead of collapsing under stress, you meet discomfort with calm breathing and steady posture. This steadiness communicates that you trust your own ability to navigate difficulty. People notice this form of strength more than loud displays of confidence. True strength is always felt before seen. Your confidence grows when you stop competing with others and start aligning with your own energy. Comparison scatters attention, but alignment gathers it. When your energy is unified, your presence becomes sharper and more intentional. This intention shapes how others perceive you. Perception becomes one of your strongest tools. Controlled energy gives you the ability to communicate without force. You don't need to push your thoughts onto anyone. The steadiness in your tone is enough to convey clarity. Clarity makes your words feel more meaningful. Meaningful words gain attention naturally. That attention strengthens your presence. Confidence rooted in controlled energy becomes visible in your posture. When you stand or sit with relaxed strength, you communicate comfort with yourself. This comfort is magnetic because people trust someone who appears internally at ease. Ease communicates capability. Capability reinforces confidence. Your presence grows stronger when you learn to direct your focus intentionally. Instead of scattering your attention, you choose where to place it. This selective focus gives you a sense of inner power that makes distractions lose their influence. A mind that cannot be easily pulled away feels disciplined. Discipline makes confidence look effortless. Controlled energy influences how you use your voice. A steady, even-paced tone creates an impression of certainty. People listen more closely when they sense you aren't rushing or forcing your words. Controlled speech carries weight. That weight shapes how people receive your presence. Confidence deepens when you move with purpose. Even small gestures, adjusting your posture, walking into a room, or making eye contact, communicate intention. Intention removes the appearance of insecurity. Without insecurity, your actions appear smoother. Smoothness gives your presence refinement. Controlled energy strengthens your ability to stay calm during tension. Instead of reacting quickly, you remain composed long enough to assess the situation fully. This restraint shows emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence enhances your leadership presence. Leadership presence draws natural respect. Your confidence becomes more impactful when you stay connected to your own breathing. Slow, steady breaths regulate your energy and allow your mind to remain clear. Clarity improves your decision-making. Good decisions strengthen your sense of competence. Competence becomes confidence expressed quietly. Controlled energy helps you stay centered even when surrounded by unpredictable environments. When others react emotionally, your grounded energy becomes a contrast. Contrast makes you noticeable. This noticeability isn't dramatic, it's rooted in stability. Stability communicates maturity. Your presence becomes more powerful when your emotions flow through you instead of controlling you. This emotional regulation creates space for rational thought. Rational responses feel more commanding. People are drawn to those who handle themselves with calm accuracy. That accuracy becomes authority. Confidence through controlled energy shows in your ability to pause before acting. This pause demonstrates that you value precision over speed. Precision gives your actions credibility. Credibility strengthens your presence by making others trust your judgment. Trust becomes influence. Controlled energy affects how you occupy space. You don't shrink yourself out of fear or inflate yourself for attention. Instead, you hold your natural size with comfort and awareness. This balance feels authentic. Authentic energy draws attention without effort. Effortless attention becomes quiet confidence. Your confidence becomes undeniable when your internal state remains balanced despite external noise. You no longer look for reassurance from others because your stability comes from within. This independence shows through your tone, posture, and reactions. People respect those who can stand steady without needing support. Embodying confidence through controlled energy means mastering your inner world so thoroughly that your presence becomes its own form of expression. You don't need to perform, impress, or demand anything. Your calm strength speaks louder than any display. With controlled energy, confidence becomes who you are, not what you try to show. Authentic presence begins with the willingness to be fully yourself without performing for approval. When you stop shaping your personality to fit expectations, people feel a natural ease around you. This ease becomes the foundation of genuine connection. When others sense that you're not pretending or competing, their guard lowers. Lowered guards create openness. Openness forms the beginning of true connection. Connection thrives when your energy communicates sincerity. You don't need to exaggerate your emotions or force enthusiasm to be noticed. Your calm honesty becomes more powerful than any rehearsed expression. Others feel comforted by the steady truth in your presence. Truth makes people relax. Relaxation strengthens connection. Authentic presence means you're not trying to impress anyone. You're simply showing up as you are. When people sense that your intentions are clean, they respond with trust. This trust is not requested. It grows naturally through your consistency. Consistency makes your presence reliable. Reliability is rare and therefore deeply impactful. Connection deepens when you listen more than you speak. Listening shows humility and interest, and both qualities make people feel valued. When someone feels valued, they feel understood, even without long conversations. Understanding builds closeness. Closeness creates connection that feels effortless. Your authentic presence becomes magnetic when you aren't seeking validation. People sense when someone needs approval from them, and it creates distance. Distance fades when you carry your self-worth from within. When you're secure, others can sense the stability in your energy. Stability becomes attractive. Attraction strengthens connection. To create real connection, your emotions must reflect honesty rather than performance. People gravitate toward those who express themselves without pretending to be perfect. Imperfection offered sincerely feels more trustworthy than flawless behavior. Trust grows where honesty lives. Honesty builds lasting presence. Connection forms when your energy doesn't shift depending on who's watching. When your personality stays consistent in different situations, people feel safe around you. They know what to expect, and this predictability becomes comforting. Comfort forms emotional closeness. Closeness makes your presence memorable. Authentic presence is rooted in your ability to stay grounded even when conversations become intense or vulnerable. When you remain steady, people feel supported. Supported individuals open up more easily. This openness strengthens the bond between you and them. Bonds formed through stability last longer. Connection grows when you stop competing for attention. You don't need to dominate a conversation to matter. Your calm participation is enough. Presence doesn't need noise, it needs sincerity. Sincerity makes people notice you quietly. Quiet notice becomes deeper recognition. Authentic presence is expressed through empathy that doesn't feel forced. When you genuinely understand someone's emotions without needing to fix them, they feel seen. Being seen creates emotional relief. Relief turns into trust. Trust expands connection without any effort. Connection deepens when your tone matches your intention. People feel the energy behind your words more than the words themselves. If your tone carries honesty, it becomes easier for others to open their hearts around you. Open hearts build bridges. Bridges strengthen presence. Your authentic presence becomes powerful when you accept differences without judgment. People gravitate to those who let them be themselves. Acceptance feels rare, and rare energy attracts people strongly. This attraction doesn't require charisma. It requires understanding. Understanding builds genuine connection. Connection is created when your presence brings emotional calm instead of pressure. People want to stay near someone who doesn't drain their energy with insecurity or neediness. Calm presence nourishes others. Nourishment forms loyalty. Loyalty deepens the bond. Authentic presence grows when you reveal yourself in small, honest ways. Your thoughts, your values, your vulnerabilities. This openness invites others to express their truth without fear. Shared truth creates emotional harmony. Harmony makes connection feel natural and strong. Connection strengthens when you respect silence. Not every moment needs words. Sometimes your quiet presence provides more comfort than conversation. Silence held with confidence communicates acceptance. Acceptance builds belonging. Belonging connects deeply. Your presence becomes meaningful when you give people your full attention. When your mind isn't scattered and your energy isn't divided, others feel genuinely acknowledged. Being acknowledged creates warmth. Warmth strengthens emotional ties. Strong ties create lasting connection. Authentic presence comes from not pretending to have all the answers. When you show humility, people feel safe showing their imperfections around you. Imperfection shared between two people builds trust faster than perfection ever could. Trust creates depth. Depth enhances connection. Connection forms when you share your energy with intention rather than performance. Performance seeks applause, but intention seeks understanding. People feel the difference immediately. Intention expands connection because it carries sincerity. Sincerity makes your presence unforgettable. Your authentic presence becomes transformative when people feel uplifted after interacting with you. They sense clarity, calmness, and honesty in your energy. This emotional uplift creates a bond that doesn't fade quickly. A bond formed through authentic presence becomes part of who they remember. Creating connection through pure, authentic presence means offering your truth, your steadiness, and your awareness without trying to be anything else. When you show up as your real self, you give others permission to do the same. Through that mirror of honesty, the most powerful and genuine connections are formed. Your identity introduces you long before your voice is heard. The way you carry yourself, the steadiness of your energy, and the comfort you show in your own skin all communicate who you are without sound. People form impressions from these subtle cues before they ever listen to your words. When your identity is clear, your presence feels intentional. That intention becomes a message. The message becomes influence. Identity shows itself through the confidence you hold quietly. When you feel aligned with who you are, your body language reflects that inner harmony. Others sense authenticity in the way you move and stand. Authentic people draw attention effortlessly because they're not trying to be anyone else. This absence of effort becomes a form of communication. Communication without words carries power. Your identity becomes visible when your actions remain consistent across different environments. When people see the same version of you in various settings, they recognize reliability. Reliability builds trust, even without conversation. That trust strengthens your presence. Strong presence makes your first impression feel meaningful. Meaning becomes influence. The way you enter a space reflects your relationship with yourself. If you walk in with calm intention, people feel the grounded foundation behind your presence. Grounded energy suggests emotional balance. Balanced people are perceived as confident without needing to announce it. This quiet steadiness speaks louder than introduction. It becomes an unspoken signature. Identity is communicated through your emotional stability. When your mood doesn't swing wildly, people sense depth in your presence. This depth makes you appear composed even when others feel overwhelmed. Composure suggests certainty and inner strength. Strength expressed through calmness is rare. Rarity commands respect without asking. Your identity speaks through the clarity in your eyes. When your gaze is steady and calm, people feel you are centered. That centeredness suggests intention and direction. Direction creates an impression of purpose. Purposeful energy feels strong even in silence. That silent strength becomes the message you deliver. Identity becomes visible when you're not trying to imitate anyone. People sense when someone's energy is genuine and not borrowed. The world responds differently to authenticity because it carries its own frequency. This frequency reveals your individuality. Individuality draws curiosity. Curiosity brings people closer without you saying anything. Your identity is revealed through the energy you allow into your space. When you're selective about what you entertain, whether emotions, conversations, or behavior, it shows that you value yourself. Self-value is noticed immediately. People treat you based on how you treat yourself. That treatment becomes a reflection of your presence. Identity communicates itself through your posture. When you stand tall without tension or stiffness, it suggests ease within yourself. Ease communicates confidence in a subtle, natural way. Natural confidence feels warm and grounded rather than forceful. This groundedness becomes a silent introduction. Silent introductions shape perception. Your identity shows through the patience you carry. When you're not rushed or frantic, people feel calm simply by observing you. Patience suggests control over your own pace. Control of pace creates a quiet form of authority. Authority expressed gently is powerful. Power expressed gently is unforgettable. Identity becomes clearer through the boundaries you uphold. When you protect your time, your energy, and your self-respect, people see that you take yourself seriously. They respond by adjusting their behavior around you. This adjustment forms a silent understanding. That understanding speaks before you ever open your mouth. Your identity reveals itself in your stillness. Stillness is not passivity, it is self-command. When you can hold yourself in place without fidgeting or seeking comfort, people feel the discipline behind your presence. Discipline communicates depth. Depth creates impact. Impact requires no introduction. Identity shows through how you react to pressure. When you remain composed instead of chaotic, people perceive you as someone who can handle complexity. This perception becomes a form of quiet authority. Authority that doesn't need to raise its voice. Authority that speaks through presence alone. Your identity becomes visible through the type of energy you bring into conversations. When you interact without needing to dominate or impress, your presence feels safe. Safety helps others relax and be themselves around you. When people feel at ease in your company, your presence becomes memorable. Memorable presence becomes influence. Identity communicates through your tone even before your words carry meaning. A steady tone shows control, confidence, and clarity. People feel the intention beneath your voice, which speaks louder than sentences. This intention becomes a marker of your character. Character shapes perception. Perception becomes impact. Your identity shows in the consistency of your choices. When your behavior aligns with your values, people sense integrity even without explanation. Integrity creates respect before conversation begins. Respect builds connection. Connection shapes how people remember you. Memory becomes presence. Identity becomes noticeable when you resist the need to seek recognition. The more secure you are in yourself, the less you rely on external affirmation. People feel this independence. Independence gives your presence its own gravity. Gravity draws attention effortlessly. Effortless attention becomes authority. Your identity reveals itself in your energy before any introduction. People sense how you value yourself, how you think, and how you carry responsibility simply through your aura. A well-formed identity projects certainty without exaggeration. Certainty communicates leadership. Leadership begins before speech. Ultimately, letting your identity speak before your words means living in a way where your presence reflects your truth. When your energy, posture, tone, and behavior align with who you truly are, you don't need to force anything. People will feel your strength, your clarity, and your authenticity long before they hear your voice. Your identity becomes the message, and that message becomes your power. Stillness becomes powerful when it's chosen, not forced. When you hold your body and energy steady on purpose, people feel something controlled behind your presence. You're not frozen, you're centered. That centered posture communicates balance and awareness. Awareness signals intention. Intention radiates strength without effort. Intentional stillness creates a sense of confidence that doesn't need movement or noise to announce itself. When you remain composed, it suggests you are comfortable inside your own mind. People immediately sense when someone is at ease within themselves. Ease becomes influence. Influence becomes silent authority. Strength appears in stillness because it shows you're not reacting to every emotion or distraction. When you remain steady while others shift restlessly, your presence stands out. This contrast makes your energy noticeable. Noticeability isn't created through dramatics. It's formed through control. Control is a sign of inner power. Intentional stillness also teaches patience. Instead of rushing to act or speak, you allow space to form before responding. That space tells others that you're deliberate and thoughtful. Deliberate behavior feels confident, not hesitant. This confidence shapes how people interpret your presence. Interpretation becomes impact. Stillness gives your energy weight. When your movements are minimal but intentional, people instinctively pay more attention to them. They feel that every gesture has meaning. Meaning creates depth. Depth draws interest. Interest becomes attraction, not romantic, but energetic. Strength through stillness comes from owning your space without trying to fill it. You don't need to expand or shrink. You simply exist with purpose. That steadiness tells others you're not seeking validation. When you don't chase validation, your presence becomes grounded. Grounded presence carries authority. Intentional stillness sharpens your awareness of your surroundings. Instead of reacting impulsively, you observe with clarity. People subconsciously respect someone who takes time to notice details. This ability signals intelligence and composure. Composed individuals influence the environment effortlessly. Influence grows through calmness. Stillness regulates your emotions. When you pause before reacting, you give yourself room to redirect your energy. This emotional stability feels like strength to anyone watching. People trust those who aren't controlled by chaos. Trust strengthens your presence. Presence becomes a form of quiet leadership. Intentional stillness also influences how others communicate with you. When you remain calm, they naturally soften their tone and slow their pace. Your energy sets the rhythm of the interaction. Setting the rhythm gives you subtle control. Subtle control is one of the purest forms of strength. Strength through stillness is revealed in your breathing. Deep, steady breaths communicate that your attention is grounded in the moment. Grounded attention signals mental discipline. Discipline radiates a confidence that is not aggressive, but firm. Firmness gives your aura structure. Structured energy feels powerful. Stillness can turn simple eye contact into something commanding. When your gaze is steady and unhurried, people feel seen without feeling overwhelmed. This calm focus communicates certainty. Certainty makes your presence feel stable and trustworthy. Trustworthy energy leaves a mark before any words are spoken. Intentional stillness helps you control the atmosphere around you. When you remain composed, people instinctively adjust their behavior to match your calm. This mirroring effect creates harmony in the environment. Harmony increases your influence. Influence formed through stillness lasts longer than influence formed through dominance. Strength emerges through stillness when you choose restraint over reaction. Instead of responding out of fear or emotion, you act with intention. This restraint reassures others that you are dependable under pressure. Dependability creates respect. Respect amplifies presence. Stillness shows that you don't need to be the loudest person to be the most powerful one. Your silence becomes meaningful because it comes from self-assurance rather than discomfort. People lean into silence when it has confidence behind it. This leaning creates impact. Impact becomes presence. Intentional stillness also shields you from emotional manipulation. When you don't react instantly, others lose the ability to sway your emotions. That calm resistance makes you appear unshakable. Unshakable energy commands attention. Attention strengthens authority. Your stillness communicates your relationship with uncertainty. When you can remain steady in the unknown, people sense depth in your character. Depth draws admiration. Admiration creates influence. Influence expressed quietly is unforgettable. Strength is also reflected in your ability to hold yourself together even when situations feel unpredictable. You don't crumble or panic. You breathe, stabilize, and observe. This response shows maturity. Maturity enhances your aura. Aura shaped by resilience becomes magnetic. Intentional stillness makes your words more powerful. When you finally speak, people listen because they've already felt your presence. Your speech carries weight because it isn't surrounded by unnecessary noise. Weight creates impact. Impact reveals strength. Your presence becomes stronger when you use stillness to conserve your energy. You don't waste movement on proving your value. You let your energy speak through your steadiness. This conservation creates a sense of control. Control builds confidence that others can feel immediately. Projecting strength through intentional stillness means trusting your presence enough that you don't need motion, noise, or performance to be seen. Your energy stays steady, your mind stays clear, and your body stays grounded. Through this quiet mastery, your presence becomes unmistakably strong without having to force anything. Redefining a space begins with the energy you bring into it. When your presence carries clarity, steadiness, and intention, people sense a shift the moment you walk in. This shift has nothing to do with loudness or dominance. It's the quiet influence of a person who knows who they are. Your grounded energy becomes a silent signal. That signal reshapes the atmosphere. The atmosphere responds naturally. Your presence redefines a room when you move with certainty instead of hesitation. Certainty is felt in your steps, your posture, and the calm rhythm of your breathing. People instinctively notice someone who isn't rushed or scattered. This unhurried confidence sets the tone. That tone influences the behavior of others. Influence creates a subtle form of leadership. You redefine a space when your emotions remain steady no matter what energy surrounds you. Instead of absorbing chaos or tension, you hold your own frequency. That stability becomes a reference point for everyone around you. People gravitate toward the calmest person in the room. Being that person gives your presence weight. Weight becomes authority. Your presence begins to transform environments when you interact without insecurity. You don't overperform or shrink. You show up exactly as yourself. This balance makes people feel comfortable near you because your energy carries no hidden agenda. Comfort creates connection. Connection strengthens your influence. Redefining a space requires owning your identity fully. When you walk in with the awareness of your strengths, values, and purpose, you project clarity without speaking. That clarity acts like a beacon. People sense direction in your presence. Direction makes your energy stand out. Standing out becomes effortless. Your presence gains power when you hold your space with quiet confidence. This doesn't mean taking over the room, it means existing with intention. Intention shapes your posture and expression. These subtle cues communicate that you're grounded. Grounded energy influences mood. Mood shapes the entire environment. You redefine a space when your presence carries emotional generosity. When people feel understood and respected around you, your energy elevates the room. This elevation doesn't require grand gestures. It comes from empathy, awareness, and authenticity. Authentic energy creates warmth. Warmth draws people closer. Your presence transforms a room when your silence is meaningful. Stillness and calmness can speak louder than any introduction. When you listen fully and observe deeply, others feel your awareness. Awareness is magnetic. Magnetism shifts the space. The shift becomes your impact. You redefine environments when your inner world is stronger than external noise. A person who is not easily shaken influences everything around them. Your calm steadiness becomes a stabilizing force. This stability inspires trust. Trust expands your presence. Expanded presence shapes the room. Your presence gains definition when you embody emotional maturity. Responding with thoughtfulness instead of impulse shows discipline. People feel elevated in the presence of someone emotionally regulated. Elevated energy enhances the environment. Enhanced environments reflect your influence. You redefine a space when your movements are intentional rather than reactive. Every gesture carries meaning because it stems from clarity. People sense this level of awareness and instinctively adjust their behavior. This adjustment becomes a reflection of your presence. Your presence becomes the guide. Your presence transforms a room when you communicate through energy before words. The first thing people notice is not what you say, it's how you make them feel. When your aura carries stillness, confidence, and openness, the room adapts. This adaptation shows your influence. Influence becomes part of your identity. You redefine environments when you don't let external dynamics determine your mood. Instead, your consistency becomes the dominant energy. People follow consistent energy because it feels reliable. Reliability builds respect. Respect empowers influence. Influence changes the space. Your presence gains dimension when you embody authenticity in every moment. People sense when energy is pure rather than performative. Pure presence creates a natural gravity that draws individuals closer without force. This gravity reshapes interaction. Interaction shapes atmosphere. You redefine a space when you are fully present, not distracted, not withdrawn, fully here. Presence creates impact because people rarely experience genuine attention. When your awareness is focused, the environment shifts around your attention. This shift amplifies your influence. Influence builds presence. Your presence strengthens when your confidence comes from within rather than external validation. Internal confidence radiates differently. It's calmer, deeper, and more stable. People trust those who are sure of themselves without boasting. Trust increases your impact. Impact defines the space. You redefine environments when you use your energy to uplift rather than compete. You don't need to outshine anyone to stand out. Your presence becomes powerful because it encourages others to rise with you. This elevation is felt instantly. Feeling becomes atmosphere. Atmosphere becomes legacy. Your presence reshapes a room when you hold emotional boundaries with ease. People notice someone who refuses to be pulled into negativity or chaos. This boundary signals strength. Strength attracts respect. Respect enhances your influence. Influence changes the room. You redefine spaces when your presence reflects purpose. A person who knows where they are going influences how others feel around them. Your clarity becomes contagious. Contagious energy reshapes the collective mood. This mood becomes your imprint. Becoming the person whose presence redefines the space means cultivating an energy so grounded, authentic, and intentional that the room adjusts to you, not the other way around. Your presence becomes a steady force, a quiet command, and an unspoken influence that shapes how others feel, think, and behave. Through this inner mastery, you become unforgettable. Presence is not something you force, it is something you grow from within. Throughout this journey, you've explored the deeper layers of energy, intention, and awareness that shape how the world responds to you. When your inner state becomes steady, clear, and aligned with who you truly are, your presence begins to speak long before your voice does. It becomes a quiet force that shifts environments, influences people, and leaves an imprint without effort. Carry this truth with you. You don't need to chase recognition or demand attention. When your identity is grounded, your energy naturally commands respect. When your intentions are pure, people feel safe around you. And when your presence is authentic, you become someone impossible to overlook. Let every room you enter reflect the strength, calm, and clarity you've built within yourself. Walk forward knowing that your presence isn't something you create for others. It's something you embody for your own evolution. Through this awareness, you become the presence people can't ignore.